Let's go.
We're live. Great. Hi, everyone. Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for being a part of our live premiere.
I'm very happy and excited to be here. Yeah, we had a great time shooting. That was pretty wild.
What I am curious, like how how did oh, I just realized I am playing the live at the same time. Um, when we approached you, what had you heard of us before, or what did you think of the idea?
I did hear of you before. Um, I knew that you had a book coming out. I knew
Oh,
that I heard of the band, and then I'd listened to and watch some live footage of you guys in concert, and um, then I read your idea and your treatment of the video, and it just sounded really cool and really fun. I like I like people who are very creative like yourself who are not afraid to dive into various forms of expression, you know? I think that's I mean not everybody can do that, but if you can, you should, I think, you know.
hmm.
So
Have
that
you
inspired me.
have you been in music videos before besides your own?
Hmm. Not a ton. Not a ton. A band called Miracle Legion way back in the 90s we did a music video. Um I did last year. Oh, I did do Holy Ghost. I did a video for them that my friend Will Janowitz directed, and myself and my son were in it. He played me like as a younger version of me, and we shot it at Dan Tana's in Hollywood, in West Hollywood. That was fun. We did that 2 years ago.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, how different is the vibe from music video and like shooting a movie and a show? Feels much quicker.
You know what's fun is that you don't have to learn lines
Right.
because you're music over it, right? So there's a little bit more freedom. It's a little more abstract. You can kind of just get into the vibe rather than like, okay, I have 5 pages of dialogue and I got to, remember my cues and do all this stuff. There's a more freedom and you kind of try to embody the spirit of the song and the music. And that's fun. As an actor, it's a very different approach than what you're usually doing, you know?
I have to say, before I like look at any of these questions, but I just want to thank you so much for how generous you were on set. I think that especially as like a younger, newer director, I I feel like the greatest gift you can give someone is to take them seriously. And I felt on set just so grateful that you came in and took everything so seriously and gave so much.
Mm,
And I felt I was just, I mean, it was just magical, honestly. I've been such a fan for a long time, and it was so incredible to get to watch you work up close, but also to get to meet you and find that you are this very warm and generous person and could come into it and take me very seriously as a director. That meant a lot because I feel like you have every right to come in to the set and be like, I've done this way longer than all of you, and but I never felt that way, and I'm
mm.
very honored and touched that you came in with that kind of attitude. I really respect that.
Wow, thank you. I mean, you inspire that confidence though by your approach to your work. So, and I really like working with younger people, like the younger generation of filmmakers and artists. I think it's really important, to stay connected um, to lots of people who are, to newer people who are doing things to, to younger people and someone like yourself. You're directing your own, it's your song. You wrote it, you performed it. Now you're directing the video. So it's something that's very personal to you and it's very organic to you. You know what I mean? And I knew that going in. But you also bring that level of authenticity and confidence and professionalism, and that goes both ways.
Do you have any, thank you, first of all. Do you have, as an actor and a director, do you have any advice for, I guess specifically directors of things as an actor that you enjoy working with a director on, and things that
Yeah.
you don't like, work, like, because I'm always trying to think of like what, because I'm not familiar with acting, so, and I'm not, I hate acting, honestly. It's not something that I really enjoy, but I love to direct, and I feel like you have such a leg up as an actor, when you're directing, of just understanding what you need as an actor. And I'm curious what what those things are that you, that really help you as an actor, that a director can do, or things that don't help you that you wish directors wouldn't do.
The best directors I've worked with, and you know, they it was the best experience working with them because they give the actors a certain amount of freedom and latitude. Not that, you need as an actor to just run rampant and make up your own dialogue and not fulfill a scene. Because as an actor, you have to do that. But it's almost like they're giving you the space to create this thing. And Martin Scorsese did that. Spike Lee does that. The best directors, and these are some of the best people ever to make films. And it's no surprise they get the best performances out of actors because they make you feel like you're there to create. When
Mm,
as an actor, someone comes in with a lot of impositions and a lot of, you need to do this, hit this mark. I want, when there's a lot, when they immediately kind of give you parameters and this is what, rather than hearing what you want to do, sometimes you can close up a little bit. And as an actor, the last thing you want to do is close up.
hmm
You want to be relaxed. You want to be open because you want to take chances. You want to discover things as an actor. The funnest thing you can do as an actor is make discoveries while the camera's rolling.
hmm
That's so exciting.
hmm
But you need a director who's going to trust that you're going to be able to do, you're going to be able to give them what they want and also inspire yourself at the same time. So it's somebody who you know, appreciates that. It's important.
Mm, that's so great. Um, is it annoying to talk about your role on The Sopranos at all? Do you
No,
get exhausted of it? I'm
I
curious,
do it
like,
every week on my podcast,
that's true,
and
that's true. It's
hours and
such a good
hours.
podcast, and congratulations on your Webby.
We won the audience award for best TV and film podcast,
It
which
is
when
so good. It's really fun to see like the guests that you bring on, because you like forget about all these like characters.
it's really fun. And when if I mean, we started it because we produce it independently. We're not with a company, so it's and it
Oh,
was
that's
pandemic,
awesome.
so I was in my my house and he was in his house, and we were, it's just like, all right, let's see what we can do here. I had no idea that people would even, well, I'd never hosted a podcast, but um, because we both love the show so much and everybody involved in it, I think that's what really kind of carries us is that I feel like this is a good thing to kind of have in the vault, like, one episode corresponding to each episode of the show. And it's like a definitive kind of look back at the show and that we can keep this, forever.
Were there things that, can you recall like something surprising that you learned from one of the guests about the show? Is it strange to get to see or remember certain things that you might have forgotten about?
What's interesting is how much I forgot, and then you have, people coming on saying, "You remember when I came on the set and you like Steve told me that I was kind of aloof and almost rude to him his first day on the set." He has not let me forget that this whole year. He brings it up to every guest and says how kind of cold I was and I didn't, I get, I'm also kind of shy. I'm not when I get to know someone I can open up, but a lot of actors are,
Hmm,
genuinely
that's
shy. I'm
surprising.
not. Yeah, I'm not very extroverted. So I don't even know if I remember who he was. It was a big crowd scene. It was a big fight with like lots of extras and lots of actors. But he took it as that I was very. This is Steve Sharippa, who I host the podcast with. That I was very kind of rude and cold and high hatted him, big timed him. That's what he calls it. That I
Oh,
big time.
wow. He called you
Yeah,
out.
he called.
Do you remember a moment on that show that sticks with you, going back to what we were talking about before, where you were surprised by, because you played this character for so long. It's such a beloved He's such a beloved complicated character. Can you recall a moment where you were sort of given the space to sort of discover something new and about that character?
You know, the cool thing about that show, which doesn't happen often in television, is that the character evolved. The characters,
For sure.
my totally evolved, and like when you see the pilot, he was pretty much like a kid.
Hmm.
Um,
How old were you when you
and
started that show?
we did the pilot in '97, so I was 31, and he was
Oh,
supposed to be
wow.
like 25 or
Hmm.
something, give or take. Um, and then we did the first season the year later. But you know, over time, he started getting more responsibility, and he was very ambitious, and he took his responsibility seriously, and his problems got worse as his responsibilities got more, and the stakes got higher. And that was really the gift of that character. That like very often in TV, in some of the really good shows, like you know, the characters are established early on, and they kind of stay like that. And this character really got to mature. He got to in his relationships with other people. Um, you know, what was interesting is Jim and I, Gandolfini and I, were much closer in age than the characters were. Like
Yeah.
Tony's kind of like a father figure to Christopher, but Jim and I were only like 4 or 5 years apart.
Oh,
So
wow.
we were much more like
But
just,
you look
and
so
I was
young in
actually,
the show.
yeah. And I had, at that time, I had 2 kids and was married, and it was before he was married or had kids.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah. So we were much more just like pals in real life than a lot of people are like, did he give you advice? I said, what? Our relationship wasn't like Tony and Christopher at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Sometimes it was the opposite, like me kind of talking to him about having kids and those kind of things. So that's something a lot of people, because people relate to you, they think you're like the characters and stuff. So we weren't that far apart in age. And when we started the show, we were kind of in similar places career wise. Like we had both done some good stuff, and some people knew us. People knew us in the industry, but not so much in the public. And we were kind of in a similar place. We had been working about the same amount of time and stuff. So it's a little bit different than what you would take from just watching it.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I mean, I guess I always assume, I also just would always assume that you had a larger age difference.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say, I feel like I have to like answer some of these questions, but oh man, there's some good ones. But yeah, one thing that I just love about The Sopranos is that I think it does so exceptionally well, and I think what interests me the most about narrative and great art is that it examine and what I was hoping to do with this video was that everyone I mean most of the main characters are all these types of anti-heroes. You're all essentially villains, and that's part of like what's so haunting about the show is that it shows like the way that we as human beings can sort of like rationalize bad behavior in order
Mm.
to survive or be these incredibly multidimensional characters. And it's a very, very different type of villain that I explore in the song. So the song is called Savage Good Boy. It's based on a headline that I read about billion-dollar bunkers on the news, that billionaires were buying up bunkers. And that was this like really menacing thing of our times, of just like how representative of class disparity that was, and how we can use wealth to protect ourselves. And so I was interested in exploring the sort of perspective of a billionaire who has rationalized this hoarding of wealth on such a high level. And I think that shows like The Sopranos have just inspired me so much to just because I think that what makes villainy really menacing is that you can see parts of yourself in a villain. Like they're all like that they're human, and they're just these like parts of being human that are sort of exacerbated to lean towards a certain way or something.
Well, as an actor, you have to find that complexity, because you can't, once you judge your character as an actor and say he's evil, he's a
Mm,
bad guy,
mm-hmm.
it's done. It becomes one dimensional. you as an actor, you can, I'm playing this guy on The Sopranos who's a killer, he's a thief, he's does some terrible things. He's abusive to his girlfriend, his drug addict. But as an actor, you have to find, okay, why is, you have to find kind of the good. He doesn't think of himself necessarily as an evil. Sure, I'm sure he struggles with these things, and sometimes he keeps himself up at night thinking about the bad things he's done, but he also has to find a place where he rationalizes it and think, I have to do this. This is my life. This is important to the people around me. This is important to the family. I'm not really a bad person. When I get this much money, we're going to move to the country and raise chicken. You know what I mean? Or whatever the
Mhm,
dream
mhm,
is.
mhm,
I'm just
mhm.
doing this for now
Right,
until
right,
we're
right.
set, that kind
Right,
of
right,
thing, whatever
right.
it is. And as an actor, it's really important um, to try to have that, put yourself in that place and try to understand what it is. Because if you don't, I think it'll really mess up the performance. If you judge it from the outside, I can't look at that character as Michael would, because I have a very different perspective and
Mhm, mhm.
criteria and morality. I have to go from his morality. Otherwise, it's not going to be an honest performance, I think.
Yeah. Okay, we have just a couple of minutes. I should ask or answer some of these questions. Um, Aaron Mook asks, what does Michael love about shoegaze and indie music?
What I love about it, I find good shoegaze, specifically shoegaze as a genre, creates a real atmosphere and a mood that can be really transcendent and transporting in a very different way than more other types of music, which I like, more straight ahead rock or more punk rock, and that has its own pleasures. But shoegaze somehow creates this by the nature, the bigness of the sound and the thickness of the sound and the expansiveness of the sound. To me, it creates this almost like cloud of experience that you can get lost in, and I love that.
I love that. Um, uh, are there someone? I saw someone asked if we had favorite music videos for each of you.
Mm, that's a good question. What's yours? Do you have one?
Um, well, for B Sweet, we were really inspired by the Spike Jones music video for Sabotage. And I also would say I love it's his video for Bjork's It's Oh So Quiet. It's like the musical music video where she like gets lifted up on a crane. And then for I think Bjork honestly pretty much puts out all of my favorite videos. I love Rosalia's videos. We love Chris Cunningham's music videos. He did this amazing video for Bjork's All Is Full of Love. Those are some of mine.
The Sabotage is pretty amazing.
Sabotage is very amazing.
That just stands. That's kind of a landmark, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a
I
really
feel
good.
like it strikes like the perfect balance between like you need to sort of I feel like for me the best music videos have a really great sense of humor, and I think that it's very stylized and has a great sense of humor. Oh, this went so fast. We have 1 minute. I guess we'll just wrap it up, but I'm sorry we didn't get to more questions. I just want to thank you so much, Michael, for being a part of this, being a part of the video. Yeah, I hope that we are best friends now and we'll hang out all the time.
Yeah, you let me know when the next one happens. I'm
Yeah, I
down.
will.
And
Thank you
good
so
luck
much.
on the tour. I know you're going to start touring soon.
Yeah, let me know. I would love if you would come to the New York show to just hang out with you and your wife. We would love to see you. We'll give you some
Sounds awesome.
VIP passes. All right,
Sounds
everyone, thank
awesome.
you so much. I hope you enjoyed the premiere for Savage Good